Welcome back. So here we are. We're back at it. And I have to say something. If it wasn't for my daughter, she's great. She's really helped me out. And she orchestrated this really amazing night tonight, and I'm so glad. I'm like a super lucky mom. I really am. I have a daughter who really is plant crazy like me, and we have this really cool thing going. Anyway, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Krista from Plant Lux, and I'm here for you to talk about plants and planty things. Today we're going to talk about propagating philodendrons. You have lots of different kinds of philodendrons. You have the heading kind that basically don't vine, and then you have the vining kind. And today we're going to talk about how to propagate these philodendrons so that you can multiply your plants. So on this table here, we have some different kinds of philodendrons that I have propagated. With a vining philodendron, it's very easy to propagate these because they already have aerial roots. And the aerial roots are always going to be at the nodes, which is the intersection here. And you can see that the node has aerial roots, okay? Even on new growth, you see aerial roots coming. So you could stick those directly in soil if you wanted to. You can do single section propagation. We're just gonna snip it right here. Okay, this is a node. We don't want that node per se, but we want these nodes. So we could, if we wanted to propagate a viney plant, you could stick this right in the soil and this would continue to just be a plant on its own. But most of the time you'll get the most growth if you go ahead and clip it. So this is the node here. If you clip it just after, and if you don't want this stem, most people, they clip it off. I think it's really nice though for like holding it up as a stem, but sometimes people have root rot from that, or rot, so they clip it, a little shorter like that. And then they discard, this piece right here. So you could do that. That's how you would propagate these particular philodendrons. Lots of fun, it's super rewarding. And then if I see, like on this one, see how it has this one right here? I wouldn't stick this one in soil, I would stick this one in water, because if you stick it in water, the chances of this coming out and blooming is greater than if you stick it in soil. Why? I'm not really sure, other than maybe it's easier for the plant to get the nutrients it needs in the water versus sticking it in soil. I'm not really sure what the reason is, but I've had greater luck with this part of the plant, the new growth, succeeding if you stick it in water. Generally speaking, you could do either way, soil, water, sphagnum, whatever you prefer. Some people do leca. I've never done that before though, so I can't really speak to it. But that is how you propagate a vining philodendron.
Why do you always go on the floor also?
I don't know.
You always go and sit on the floor.
I like the floor. I love the floor. The floor is friendly. It doesn't judge me. Stop judging me. Okay, so we put these in water. I'm honestly probably going to put these directly in soil later on, but whatever. These ones I stuck directly in soil, I would say maybe 2 months ago. Seems to be doing well. Looks like it has some new growth. This is a silver stripe Rojo Philodendron. Here's another propagation. Been hanging out for a little bit. This is a Brasil Philodendron propagation that I did. These are all brand new growth, these tendrils right here. I think this is cool. I think it looks really neat. These are from some cuttings that I took off of my Micans philodendron, both of these. These are doing well. Again, the Micans ones this one I stuck directly in soil. This one was a water propagation. This one actually had more growth points on it. I think it's because of where I had it in the sun. But yeah, super cute. So this is an example of a cutting that I took from my red emerald philodendron. And these vines just happen to be thicker and bigger. So it's the same concept. This kind of philodendron, you know, it's just larger. You know, it intersects here where the node is. Ooh, it looks like this one broke off. So the aerial root broke on this, that's okay. But these are the aerial roots on a red emerald philodendron. Now I left on purpose enough of the stem in case there was root rot. Because if there's root rot at the bottom when you stick it in water, then you can clip it, okay? So up here, same concept. But this is new growth. So I did not propagate here because I was worried that this wouldn't survive. So that's sort of my hack, I guess. I mean, maybe it's on the internet somewhere, but I haven't seen it that I know of. But my personal experience with propagating philodendrons or even monstera is that, you know, if you propagate in water and you have a few mature leaves and you have new growth, if you clip below and you just put it in water, not in soil, because in soil, this will rot and fall off. It will be brown. But in water, I've actually had experiences where the new growth survives and it thrives and it shoots out extra new growth. So, you know, again, to each his own. That's just my personal experience. At least I would say 95% of the time. Have there been a few occasions where I've had some brown spots on the new growth? Yes, there have been. But that could be from underlying reasons I don't know of, because I have a lot of busyness in my house, so it could have been knocked over, it could have been hit. In this case, this one touched the ceiling quite a few times and was on a roller, and it kind of went across the ceiling multiple times. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if this leaf looks crappy when it comes out. Anyway, yeah, so this red emerald philodendron is an example of a vining philodendron that, you know, you have your node, you cut, you know, you could cut up here if you wanted to. I recommend leaving space in case there's root rot, because there is a chance when you stick it in water that could happen. And then, yeah, you just wait for roots. You know, you have these roots here. You could plant it directly in soil if you wanted to. It's totally up to you how you want to propagate your plant. I'm just sticking it in water for now because I have no pots. Otherwise, I would stick it directly in soil because I think these are really good aerial roots and it would just take off. It's a personal preference. Also, I'm trying to save this guy right here. So, anyway. All right. Moving on. So then you have another class of philodendron that is a self-heading class, which means it doesn't vine. It is just like kind of like a bush. And some examples of that are the Moonlight Philodendron, the Macaulay's finale, and then there is the Moonlight Philodendron, and of course the ever famous Rojo Congo Philodendron. So these are some philodendrons that are self-heading and they don't vine, okay? I think an imperial red is in the same family. And these are some of the common ones that they have in our household. So can you propagate these kind of philodendron? The answer is yes. Yes, you can. You can propagate. So I'm willing to do a little bit of propagation just to carry on this plant's legacy because I love this plant. And I do kind of want to separate some of the new growth from the older growth for some various reasons. Anyway, what you look for are these guys. These are the aerial roots on a Rojo Congo. So in order to propagate a Rojo Congo, you would do it the same. Now the internode, The internode on a Rojo Congo is much shorter, as you can see. The internode on a vining philodendron is a lot longer. Now, you might be asking yourself, what the hell is an internode? Hi, Whiskey. Yes, hello. Yes. Okay, can you lay? You're wet. Lay. What we're talking about here is, this is an internode. So here's a node. Here's the distance between the next node. The internode is long. All right. Yes, Whiskey, we know. Golly. All right. So the internode, though, between here and here is really short. So what you have to do to propagate a Rojo Congo is you need to get in between the internodes, and it's kind of a tight fit, so you got to really look. So in order to propagate this bad boy, I need a good internode. I'm thinking I can see one right here. Okay, do or die. I did it. All right, hopefully it survives. This is a new one, it might not make it. I don't know. Hopefully it does though, because look at how many nodes we have. I'm just gonna stick this directly in soil and hope for the best.
It's pretty though.
So I don't know if you can see this or not, but there's an epidemic rust plague that has come into the household somehow. So that is a reason to cut some stuff off.
It smells weird.
It does smell weird. It smells like vegetables. So this is where we cut. And now that I look at it, I probably could have gone a little lower because it
looks like muscle.
It does. It's crazy. Anyway, it does. It smells very vegetable-like. So if you do it, yeah. I could cut again, and I could get another propagation right here if I wanted to. If I wanted to, I could do it right here. Bam. And I could get these two stems and propagate in a whole nother plant. Now, I don't know if you can tell by looking at this, but it doesn't really look like it took that big of a hit. This has been in the sun, by the way. This is window damage. Don't ever put your Rojo Congo in the window. This is what happens.
Well, south facing.
South facing window will burn your leaves, and that is what happened here. So that's my bad. You live and learn, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it happens. I moved it into a south facing window and it was too late. It was one day, and the leaves got scorched. So some of these leaves are pristine condition, and my advice to you is if you have a Rojo Congo and you want to propagate it and you want to get it away from anything that might not be pristine, would be to cut the pristine leaves, if you can find an aerial root, and stick it in a pot and move it far away from your other philodendrons. And here's the reason why. If you see anything reminiscent of a spot on your Rojo Congo or other philodendron, I am telling you right now, it spreads. It spreads through the air. I had a philodendron Birkin near my Rojo Congos where it had rust spots, and it did spread to the philodendron Birkins, and they were not touching. They were not touching. So, my advice to you, if you see rust spots, cut it, run, take it, put it in the other room, keep it away from your philodendron collection because it will infect your philodendrons. I don't know how it does it because I'm not a scientist or a botanist. All I'm saying is that if there is a philodendron nearby and there are spots on a philodendron, it will somehow, however it does it, it's a fungus, it must be spores in the air, it will get on your other philodendron. So just kind of word to the wise, if you have rust spots, cut and dispose, spray with neem oil, try to do the best you can not to kill it, and I get it, you want to keep it. I don't want to throw out my plant either. But you have to quarantine it. It has a disease. Sorry. That's the truth. So you want to just keep it to the side away from your other philodendrons because both of my Birkins now have the same disease. Yeah, okay. All right.
It looks wrong with it.
And it bleeds. We need to put this in soil. God, I need to water this plant.
Do, 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 do.
Look at that. There you go. Done. All right, here we have a Philodendron Salome. It's the bark tree-like philodendron. This is a baby one. It's been through hell and back. He spent the summer outside because he had mealybugs, and I just put him out there to die. But he ended up getting like 15 new leaves. So, hey man, joke's on me. So, yeah, so you pull this bad boy out. He's pretty dry, I'm not gonna lie. He's a poster child for neglect, this plant. And yeah, I don't mind getting my floor dirty, whatever.
You don't have to actually do it. You can just talk about how you do it.
Yeah, well, I need to do it. So, you need to split this bad boy by root division. So, you can't propagate this, to my knowledge, unless you root divide. So, there's some dead stuff here. Let's get rid of that if we can. Alright, so what you do is you find the dividing spot, and these, by the way, these break off really easily, so this is not for the faint at heart. Root division is not an easy task with these guys, so you're going to need a pair of snips, and you're probably going to, sorry, it's like I said, it's not for the faint at heart. You're going to lose some foliage. So when you root divide, you might want to hand in on this, honestly. So you want to find a spot where you can do that, and in this case, it's here, and you just push gently because you don't want to get too crazy with it. But you push gently and you try to divide the roots. That's all you do. That's how you get a new plant. And there you go. Voila. Put that in soil in its own pot, and you have yourself a propagation. Now, that's not too different than the original, and you can give this to a friend. And you can clean up the mess. Because it's pretty freaking bad. It's okay, my dog poops and pisses on the floor, so it's all good. Let's just have a party. Yeah, because, you know, I live in a jungle, so he's confused. He thinks this is like, you know, free reign. Hi, oh, you're a tree. Mom's sleeping. Yeah, it's not a good thing. Let's just say there's a little bit of angst built up. Because my growing collection has created a pissing contest, so to speak. So, this is how you divide plants like a Xanadu Philodendron, a Salome. Well, you could root divide pretty much any self-heading philodendron.
You can also do it with the vining ones too.
Oh yeah, you definitely can divide any plant that you want. It's just that when you okay, so here's the thing. When you divide a plant, it doesn't encourage growth, new growth. It frees up some space, it does. I'm not sure how much it encourages new growth per se, but it kind of does work in the same way, like if you're propagating. However, it's a different animal. It's a completely different animal. So if you're cutting like a vining philodendron, it's going to encourage adventitious growth. I am not positive on how that works on a self-heading plant when you divide. I think that division is just a means of like keeping the plant smaller, from my understanding. because I have a Xanadu that's out of control up in my bedroom that needs to be divided. And my daughter's waiting for me patiently to divide it so that she can take some home with her, I think. Didn't happen tonight, but it will. But that's the kind of plant that when you divide it, you have to take it out. So that concludes my philodendron propagation, division, you know, cutting, making sure that you get those nodes and those aerial roots, vining and self-heading plants. So hey, that's it for today. I feel like I'm getting kissed by my Rojo Congo. Is very happy with me. And if you didn't see it in my clip earlier, I actually ended up propagating and cutting and putting it right next to where it came from. So I will keep you posted on the progress of this guy. I actually might cut another little piece and put it on the other side just to have more full plants. Because as you can see, when you fill up a big pot, it's kind of rewarding.
Now another plant you could propagate would be a Moonlight Philodendron. Same idea as the Rojo Congo, okay? And as you can see down in here, they have aerial roots, just like the Rojo Congo. You see these right here? Those little guys are aerial roots. See these? Right there, that's an aerial root. So you would find a place, and these internodes are very tight, especially on this plant because it's not as mature as some of my other plants. But you would find a place between internodes, which I can't really see on this plant, to be honest. So see how tight that internode is? I wouldn't even chance it. Yeah, this one's not developed enough to do, but you would go between the internodes. Oh, the new growth on this didn't make it. Between the internodes would be like really here, but it's really, really tight. See where that aerial root is? Right there? So you'd have to go underneath that aerial root. And then what you would end up doing on an immature plant is chopping off all the gorgeous new beautiful growth, so it's not really worth doing on an immature plant. In fact, I wouldn't do it on this type of plant. That's just my personal advice. The reason I wouldn't do it on a plant like this is because it would end up being unsightly for a short period of time until it recovered from you cutting it and propagating it. So just kind of food for thought. So guys, for this plant, it's the same as the Salome Philodendron. This is a Xanadu Philodendron. And basically what you would do is you would root divide. So you get down in there and you see that there are separate places where you could divide. Like this is a clump right here. This is a separate clump right here. And essentially you would, you know, get down in there and pull them apart by root division. This is the only way that you can propagate a Xanadu is by root division. This is a patented plant, so technically, you know, you can root divide it and keep your divisions and your propagations in your own home, but you're not supposed to put them back on the market. Apparently, that's how patented plants work. I'm not an expert though, not on that. Anyway, it's gorgeous, worth propagating. Love these toothy leaves. Not propagating this today or dividing it, but you would get in there, like I said, and find these divisions right here, and then you would pull this clump away from this other clump. See how there's two separate ones? You would pull them apart and then stick it in soil, and that's it.
Kind of rewarding. So, anyway, thank you for joining me today. Hey, if you're new here, please subscribe. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up. We are doing some midnight recordings, as you can tell by the lighting. Ha! And yeah, so come back and join us again next time for some more planty advice or planty stuff. And we will be here hanging out, having a good time. I'll see you next time. Bye.